for me to see outside of where we were living. And I was a big
Before,
reader. Like I always put that on outside of us trying to do little things here and there and you trying to like make the most out of what we had access to. I always say like reading is the reason that I move the way that I move because I
yeah,
could go in my little, prison cell size bedroom on Stevens Ave and escape. I was all over the world in that little closet, that little Narnia closet of a room because of my books, right? I
but
read
it
one
was your
book, I'm
favorite.
I'm I'm in Brazil. I read another book, I'm in another place. I read this book, I'm in Italy. And like I remember even when I first started traveling internationally, things not being super foreign to me because I read. Like, you
You
know,
knew it was there. You had to connect the dots. You had to say, okay, I read this in school. Does it really or really exist? Is it looking like the picture that they gave us in school? Did they beef it up or is they hiding
mhm.
something? So when you got on that plane by yourself, and by the way, you got me cussed out by your grandmother, but we ain't gonna say no more about that. But when you got there and you got off that plane, I know you had that wow factor because I had that wow factor um when I had went to Panama with Pam to get on. I got actually I had the wow factor because we ended up in a layover, so we were in Mexico. I had the wow factor in Mexico's airport. I was just like, wow, like okay, the book says this, but damn, this is beautiful. This is look at the skill, like their airport literally is natural light.
I remember the first time I got off the plane in Brazil, because that was my first international trip, and being so scared and overwhelmed because it's not Spanish, right? They don't speak Spanish. And I remember like what always holds me down was you when we first started learning the subway and stuff like that in New York,
Mhm,
and you being like, as if you can read, you will not be lost as long as you can read. And so
mhm.
the way that because and even though Portuguese, it's a European, language, right?
Language.
So even when I couldn't understand specific words, like I knew like I knew enough context clues and I knew enough about language to like figure some stuff out. But yeah, and being surrounded about all these Black people who like are not speaking English and are not speaking Spanish. And I had been studying Portuguese, right? But the studying at home, you're like, oh, tudo bem. Like it is not the same. Being around the hundreds of
Listen,
people,
let
you
me
know.
tell you, it is amazing because, like I said, when I was in Panama, you know me, egg white,
Mhm.
piece of grits, piece of juice. I couldn't even say that. And one girl, like it was like 100 people, and one girl was like, because Pam was next to me. And she was like, I speak English. And the woman kept saying this gringo. And I'm saying, well, who the hell is a gringo?
Right, because we
And
think
I
gringo
felt
means white people. Like
that's yeah,
for me,
girl.
that I
I
was
was
like,
like,
you talk about
and
me?
I'm looking like, okay, I blend in with y'all. I know this effer cat ain't calling me a gringo. The girl said, they call automatic. I said, you tell her in Spanish, fix the no, you do not call me that at all. You call me anything else but that. And she
Um,
started laughing. She said, well, why did she speak them? Because I'm American. And like everybody turned around and was like, no, no. And it was, I'm like, I'm not Panamanian. I look at thank you very much. When I
you
come
like
back, I'm a
everything. That's the one thing I learned. Like the more we travel, I'm like, I literally, as long as I don't
we
open my
fit
mouth in certain
every,
places,
you
I,
know,
I'm passing.
we fit everywhere, but in this damn, listen, we fit everywhere, but in this damn country we were born in.
I don't
And
feel
I'm
that
mad
anymore
at
either. I really recently have been standing in this is the land that my closest and most powerful ancestors occupy. And so I
that's
don't
what
let people
connects
take
you
that
to
from me
it.
no more. Like my purpose on this earth is too big to be distracted by racism. It's like Toni Morrison, like it's a paraphrase, a quote. She's like the purpose of racism is to take you out of your purpose. And so I don't let people play in my face like that no more. I very much
No,
love to
you
be
know,
here,
I never
taking up
played with it.
space. You know what I mean?
I
Is it
never
perfect? No,
played with that either. You know, I didn't play
but
with that
I'm very
either
proud
because
to
I'm
be
very
a
proud
survivor
because
of this
listen,
thing,
we
this
proud of
system.
who we are, but I'm just over the planned stupidness. you know, to want to be stupid and ignorant on purpose. I'm so over
Yeah.
it for black and white. I'm so
Yeah, I
freaking
think that
over it.
transcends
If
race
you
at this
scared
point.
of, yeah, if you scared of the skin you in, then oh well.
Yes. Yes.
I
Well,
can't help you. Don't give it to me.
our
So
in
listen to the
true
mama. Listen to the
mother-daughter
mama.
fashion, we have gone, I didn't even introduce us, so I'm gonna backtrack that. What you drinking? See, this is why we can't get nowhere
Girl,
as a people.
wait. No, this is Mother's Day. I'm gonna do everything unconventional because
Ma'am,
I can.
no, this hair looks
This
so
is
good in
water.
your lighting.
I look good.
No, the hair is hairy.
Oh,
What is
but
that?
can you see?
Put it closer to the pure kick, hydrate, something or the other. Okay, strawberry watermelon is,
I found this in the dollar store, and this is really more healthy than I realized. Zero sugar, doesn't have that stevia crap in it,
yeah,
whatever.
just make sure it doesn't have that
It's
red dot number 40. We need you here another 45 years. Read the
oh
bottom.
yeah, the child that told me I gotta live to 117. I'm gonna make that work. Can I be can I be a stripper in one of them years though?
You sure
I just
can. I'm a support. And we got to get
well,
a
Mama
tattoo.
be 65 around the pole. Where Tyrone at?
Oh, yeah. Wait, listen, on your 80th birthday, I think we should just go get that tattoo I've been harassing you about for 20 years.
I don't remember, but by that time I might not have no feeling anymore.
All right. All right. Whew,
But
okay, I'm going to count us down and we're going to
go ahead,
officially
go
start so
ahead.
I can get to the questions.
Okay.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Happy Mother's Day. This is Sheree, founder and editor in chief of Curls in the Hood. And today's Convos with Curls in the Hood is super duper special because I got on my mama, on my hood. We look fly, we look good. The OG Sonia, the OG Sheree, I should say. Uh, my mama, Sonia Sheree, Fleming Witherspoon. I put all your tea out there. I can edit that
And,
though. You got warrants.
and Lou and the Ravs, you know, and the Rav. Don't need
Oh,
the
yeah,
Ravenel right now. In the
I'll put
Rav,
the Ravenel in parentheses.
because you know
Oh.
Pop will get you. Your
Oh,
grandpa will get you.
yes,
You
yes. All
be
right.
like, that's my daughter.
All
That's
right.
my
So,
daughter, Lord, that's my daughter.
ma'am, we are recording
Yeah.
a vlog.
Oh, so
Okay. We're gonna take it back because
uh,
today I want to talk about how fashion and music and all of this has influenced you and even how it's influenced your identity as a mom. So I told you today's gonna be fun. We're not gonna go super duper deep, but the first time you pop me, I'm not gonna tell the people about that time. No.
sure about
We're gonna start with the
it.
fun stuff.
There.
Looking back at you,
I,
right?
no,
Okay.
actually, the first time I popped you was you and your daddy because he let you curse. And I popped you, and then I popped him, and then both of y'all protested y'all wasn't my friend. And I was like, I really don't care because when you get hungry, you're going to need to talk to me.
Okay, going back to your teenage years in Brooklyn, what was the fashion trend you were most obsessed with? And how does it compare to what you see today in fashion?
Actually, I wasn't.
Mm,
Your grandmother had this natural fashion talent. I always said if she had the opportunity to meet Dapper Dan when we were coming up, them two, oh my gosh, because she made our clothes. We she always said, I don't introduce what I can't afford to keep
mhm.
going. I'm not gonna start a habit that I can't keep up. So, you know, she she did her things her way, but when it came to fashion, that woman there was nothing but it because she sold whatever she saw, whatever she thought she sold. She went up and down Fifth Avenue,
Mhm.
and then she would go to the material stores, and she would come back with this material, and she would make it. All those pictures you see, them school pictures, she made that. I was wearing snakeskin vests and skirts to school. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for my thing, it was hair because we had so much of it. And, you know, Afro was out. Your grandmother
Yeah. Her fro.
lived and died. That Afro. And I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. But for me, it was here because having the afro, it was all different textures of hair. And it was just fly, you had the 100 little ponytail power puffs, you had the big one, you had the little one, you put it to the side. Back in the day for us, it was water and Vaseline or Blue Magic, Royal
Hmm.
Crown, that, and whatever else your mama made and she put in your hair to keep it growing. And you comb it down and you would tie it up, and it was pantyhose. It was silk pantyhose stockings. You put that on your head and you had it tied up. Some little waves would rock back, and then you had this puff like this big. Oh my God. I liked it that, and I always liked it the two strand twist. Just twist them out. You see me
Yeah.
do that in a heartbeat. I love that. It was something about that because even when your hair would shrink up, it had like a funny design to it
Hmm.
that wasn't common. And people be like, "Oh, that's so cute." You know me, give me a ponytail.
Well, you know what too, and I'm gonna co-sign that because I feel like even for me when I was like a preteen and stuff like that, I was the first girl at school wearing rocking bantu knots. Was the first one with flat twists, and you know what I mean. And you were always like, no, like leave a little texture in your hair because you know that age when girls start wanting their hair straight, you want it bald straight. And so yeah, you're definitely that. I agree with that because you were always like ahead of the game in terms of like even how you styled my hair. Like I said, I'll never forget being the first person, like the only kid at school in Bantu knots. And
Girl, I couldn't do nothing with
by
your hair.
years.
I couldn't I couldn't do nothing with your hair. You watch that stuff start curling up. You have a bang and the bang look like somebody shot at it. Now I'm like, my child can't be walking around looking like this. I say she pretty, but her hair look crazy.
Or oh my
And
God, when you went for
I
work and
remember, you were about two or three, and both of us had a hell of a lot of hair. And I'm like, God, I can't keep going. This kid got to, it won't stop growing. So I trimmed your hair because even you sit there and you be like, "Mm." And I said, you know what? I'm gonna cut your hair. It's only gonna grow to your shoulder. I'm not letting it go down your back because it was just too much. Your hair and my hair. Boy, when your mother, your crib would say, uh-uh, that girl here. She's like, nigga, you cut her hair again, you gonna be headless. So that's when I went and I cut all my
yes,
hair.
then you got the
Oh,
Tony
she lost.
Braxton, the Holly
Yeah,
Berry.
she lost her. Oh my gosh. She was like, I didn't stop. I was like, but I wouldn't be looking like Tony Braxton. Thank you, Tony
No,
Braxton.
that was your era.
What?
That cut was your time. Okay.
Tony, any haircut she had, I had. It was between Tony Braxton and Anita Baker.
Oh,
When I
okay.
was professional, I'd rock Anita Baker. But when I want some sass in it, it was Tony Braxton and then because I knew I had the shape I had.
Hello, because that cut, honestly, it's a whole package because you know everybody recycles trends and fashion and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so whenever I think about that, the Holly Berry, the Tony cut, I see you in like a a white tank top, fitted jeans, a cute little pump, or like the ankle like booty like boots or whatever.
Mhm.
Like it's a whole aesthetic. You can't just cut the hair and think that's gonna be the look. Like it's
Exactly.
a
You got to put it
vibe. Like
together.
that 90s look
It
is like you need your little leather jacket. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's a thing. Okay, we're gonna move into music now. So you are a renowned, world-known lover of house music. Can you share a favorite memory of a night out dancing to your favorite music, and how does music influence your day-to-day life?
Asia, cousin Asia. Asia saved. Asia introduced me to house music because Asia vision for her life was stardom. So we used to practice dancing and all of that stuff. But when I had you, I was just like, I knew for me, with the temperament I have, because I don't have that balance like everybody has, I don't have a middle. There's no medium to me. You gonna get it or you won't get it. One of the two. So I saw the cutthroat. I saw the grindiness. It was easy to become a star, but it was wicked. The path was real wicked. And I'm like, I gotta be around for my good. You know, crack popped up. All this other crazy foolishness. So Asia took me. It was, I can't even think of the name of it, but we were on Eastern Park. Somebody had this club or whatever it was, dim lights, whatever. She had her friend, they were in the house with it. Because I think she danced for a couple of people back in our day. Long story short, we go and now I've never heard house music like that. Because your godfather, Prince, that was the guru of all of it. And Prince loved house music. But I only experienced it in the house, not in a club. Girl, I got dressed and she told me, he said, I need you to put something on under that shirt because you're coming out of your shirt. And I'm like, no need to make you come out of your shirt unless you listen to Marvin Gaye and the rest of them. It's
Hmm.
about this time. She said, no, I'm telling you, Sonia. I said, okay. So I had this cute black bra, but I had this lace tank top. Actually, it was really like lingerie, but I put it on under my shirt. Girl, we was in that club. I came out that shirt. We partied so hard. I was just high off of it. And I think the song at the time was Working to the Bone that played.
Work it to the bone, 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 work. That
Girl,
one.
don't get me wrong. You know how I am. You throw that on in Big Frida, you done lost your mama. All right. Ratchet has stepped to the table.
Listen.
Oh, but yeah, after that, I was a junkie for it. I had been all over with that house music. But again, I had to tone it down because it was a lot. I had to tone it down. It was a lot.
Yeah,
And I actually really partied. It was after your father passed. And
like
that
therapeutic.
was my coping.
Yeah.
That's very therapeutic. Girl. And then I noticed you guys, I play that music and hear your little feet go. And I was like, oh, that's what we do. On Friday night to Sunday morning, we party.
Yeah, listen. And you know what's so funny when we moved to Jersey and when I got to college, I didn't, because I wasn't like I didn't go to like high school parties and nothing like that. So I didn't really start my party culture for myself until I got to college and then get into Montclair and realizing that house music had such a big culture in Jersey. Like I'll say more so than New York. In terms of
No,
like
it did.
that
It
tradition
did.
of like even the young people grow up listening in the house and it's a part of like if you're at a at least back when I was in college like you were not at a party and it didn't like house music Jersey Club didn't play or whatever and so yeah you prepared me for my
Yeah, you heard the music. You just had to, because like I said, unfortunately, y'all generation got a little snippet of it, but these generations comes will never have what we had. The 60s, baby. Because when all of that came out, it was new. I remember an office building called Level 10. They allowed whoever that young man was to take the cafeteria, whatever that room was, and turn it into a club after work. You know, we would break our neck to get there. Then up the street was the Octagon. Then you had the Shadow. Then you had all these other clubs. I remember us getting when I worked in that West, and your grandfather would come and get you, and your grandmother would call you like, "Okay, Pop got them." I would look at this. His name was Trevor. I was like, "Trevor, what's the plan?" Trev said, "We hitting 7 clubs tonight," and Trevor never lied. When I tell you from 6 o'clock to 6 in the morning, how you came through the morning, you was like, "Mommy, why you so dressed up?" No, well, that's when you were there. You like, "Mommy, why you so dressed up for breakfast?" No, your mama ain't never been home from the night before. You know, came in with your little McDonald's breakfast and your this and the that. That was the bribe for y'all to be sleep for at least, for y'all to be cool for about 3 or 4 hours so I can catch a quick little nap, get up, do what I got to do for y'all. And then when y'all got tired, I'd go back to sleep. But yeah, it girl, and
Those.
to be alive, because I'm gonna tell you, I did not believe I would see this day. Because crack, between the crack, the no more fighting with your hands, everybody want to shoot each other, and the blatant racism we were fighting, where we were literally disappearing, like disappearing, no trace, you know. I was like, I make it to 23, I'll be happy. I made it to 20, I made it to 25. Oh, 30. I'm gonna be here a little while, you know. And then, you know, when we moved to Jersey City, it was different because you know, we New York, you know. New York is live all day, every day. When I say live, people come out their house because they got a purpose, they got a place to go, things
Yeah,
to do. And there are things to do all
all
hours of the
day.
day and night.
Hmm.
Whether it's good or bad, there is something to do. That town ain't shut down. Jersey was different, you know. I done hung out in New York and only got the bus halfway home, but then had to walk freaking 5-inch heels home. Jersey owed me some shoes.
Well, this is a
Oh,
perfect segue because you know, having raised, I'll say me in particular because you know, Mel is you know, only 2 years younger than me, but I think I had the most time in Brooklyn, right, in
mm,
terms of like going to school and all that stuff, and then Jersey. Can you share a funny or memorable moment um raising moi, either in Brooklyn or I'm thinking of one instance. I'm wondering if you're going to bring this up, but yes,
teacher man,
huh?
teacher man.
Who's teaching?
Okay, so you must have forgot. So you had to be. It was so I'm gonna say preschoolish. Okay, I sent you to school down the street. So it was two instances. So when I had cut my hair, you cried. You said the kids in school gonna call you a boy. You're not. You know, I was like, no, Ray. And you cried so hard. You was like, Mom, please, you gotta wear a hat. They're gonna call you a boy. And I got there and I took the hat. And she was like, oh my God, you took the hat off. And they was like, oh, that's pretty. And one little boy was like, and you gave him this, like, you better not say it. And he didn't say anything. And they was like, oh, the haircut, so you was okay. I think it was the same day. Girl, I came to pick you up. I don't know where they took y'all. But I, to this day, ain't never seen a kid tear her pantyhose like yours. They had to, we had, you had a whole leg missing. Like, I had to pull it from the ankle. We had to pull the pantyhose for the ankle to the tie and tie knots in it. Because you had like the whole kneecap, the whole shit. I was like, shit. You was like, well, mommy, today was a good day. I had fun. And I'm like, Ray, what happened to one leg of your pantyhose? Your knee wasn't bleeding. You was like, worry about it. It's all right. You give me a new one. I'm like, this girl think I'm made out of money. But I could not understand what the hell happened to the pantyhose? Like, how you have a whole leg missing?
You know what's funny? I remember coming home missing a leg of pantyhose, but I
A
can't tell you
whole
what
leg
happened that day.
missing.
I think it was a
Like,
good day. I think I was very honest. That was a great day.
you had a great
I
day.
remember
I
you and
said,
Nanny
for
Pro being
real?
like, "What?"
What? Because we and you was in a little skirt uniform with the little pleats,
Hmm.
because you know we always dressed you like a doll. So we were able, the ladies too. She was like, I thought the teacher said, I thought the whole pantyhose, but it wasn't like it tore some type of way where it was hanging in the front and it raised up to your little thigh. So we pulled it up and we tying knots to make it
Hmm.
and pull the skirt down and look like you had regular pantyhose. We got home. My grandmother was like, what the hell? I said, nobody messed with her. Ask her what happened. She was like, it was a good day, Nanny Pearl. Well, let me tell you what happened. And them little ponytails are flop, 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 flop. And you talking to ponytails go flop like puppy ears. Bloop, 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 bloop. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But it was a good day. And then another time, you and your grandmother got into it. That was funny. I laughed till I almost peed on myself. She told you to clean up, and you said, I ain't cleaning up. Cause Grandma Mary said I'm a sugar cookie and sugar cookies don't clean up. And she said this sugar cookie gonna be missing her biscuits. You know the words she used.
Yes.
If you don't get up and pick that ding dang dang and broom up and clean, and you was like hands on the hip, like I'm a sugar cookie. She said, I'll give you one more time. And I was like, sugar cookie, you about to be broke up. I think you better get the broom.
Oh
And
man.
you kept huffing and puffing. I'm a sugar cookie. I don't do this. I was
Listen,
like,
young Sheree had, you know, she knew. She was like, I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna have a housekeeper. No.
let me tell you. Her housekeeper turned her mom into a housekeeper when
Listen,
I come.
but you know what it is? It's like I feel like since the pandemic, like I've not been able to get out of not I think I accumulated too much junk during the pandemic. I was buying stuff to cope with like not leaving the house and like when
Don't
Sean
worry, I
passed,
come shopping.
you
I
know,
got
like
a lot.
and then I
I got
was
a lot of
working.
empty bags. I got a lot of empty
Well, you know, I
bags here.
donated a lot of stuff. I donated like 8 laundry bags worth
Don't
of
worry,
stuff.
you got. I can find 4 more bags in that closet. I'm good.
So yeah, I was accumulating just like stuff, and I was working like these fashion companies, so a lot of the
Mhm.
stuff I was getting super duper cheap. That didn't help. And so now it's like I almost need to do like a 4-year purge of getting. I need to get my space back to like pre-pandemic like openness because there's just so much
Don't
stuff.
worry, I got you. I'll be there soon.
You
I
know,
got a couple things I need.
I
Let me tell you, this is my best time being mom. I can go in your class. Mm-mm-mm.
I remember you had this I was in my 20s when my body was ridiculous. And you had this Christian Dior like bodysuit, remember? And I think
Mhm.
I think you saw the wickedness in my eyes. I saw that bodysuit. I was like, oh, I'm about to be out here running amok. And you were like, absolutely not. You are not ready.
My
I can see it. You were like, you gonna be out here.
everybody in jail. All because you
Everybody.
out here
I was
looking
like,
like,
and then by the time you gave it to me, I was too fat
no,
to wear it. I was like, you know what? I'm coming down. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna still be a menace in it, but you know.
hey. Now listen, you're older.
Mhm.
So it's a different see, the innocent menace always end up hurt. When
Right.
you become older, it's a planned menace. So you already weighed your pros and your cons. But when you young and you got more body than brain, you end
It's
up
true.
getting yourself scarred and hurt before you got to do whatever that little menace you wanted for fun and sat back and say, yeah, that wasn't right, but I enjoyed that.
Right.
It's different. It's different at that age. You still got to be protected. That's why I sit there. People talk about they daughter. Oh, she grown.
Yeah,
You're
but
gonna be
you ain't.
sorry.
Well, this is
You're
the
gonna be
thing too.
sorry.
I
I'd rather have you in the beginning, make you think, make you understand. For every action, there's a reaction. Your brain is a tape recorder that never erases. You may forget some things for a little while, but you better be as sure as I'm a Black woman, you're going to remember something devastating. And it will shut you down in the
Mhm.
middle of life when you don't need to be shutting down.
Yeah.
So you need to put that time in because your grandmother always said that sacrifice. I like mine. If I sacrifice any more time, I'm gonna be Father Time itself. She said, you're not getting it. And your brothers made me get it. Because those extra 15 and 20 minutes in a day you're not there, your children learn a lot.
Yeah. I also think
And they
boys,
will do a lot.
they'll do a lot, but I think that they have different
And the
uh
cleanup process, listen, what did I tell you when you came with growing up? You said the boys, I said, listen, they ain't no different than you. The only thing different about y'all is one sits down to pee and the other one stands up. At the end of the day, you need to have an education. You need to have a plan. You need to have faith, God, with whoever you want to pray to. That's on you. But you better do those three things.
Yeah, but I think the boys, you know, they have different external expectations
Mm-hmm.
to uphold. And I remember just like there's a conversation that I had with Tyree years ago that it stays with me to this day because it's like, you know, he was I was getting on him for like being, you know, a menace
Mm-hmm.
at times, and he was like, but I matter here. Like, you know what I mean? He was like, but like I matter
Right.
here, right? And so it's
But
like I
it's
could
the
go somewhere
same
and feel
for,
powerless, but they don't realize that's a fleeting thing. Like that's a very
right.
much a
But
young
it's the
man's
same
game and
with women.
whatever.
It's the
But
same with women that
but I
have those
think is
little cliques. It's the same. We just,
but
we
I don't
view
but women
it
are not expected to be protector, provider, et cetera, et cetera. And so when you have boys
different.
that enter that feel like going to work for somebody else means that it's like emasculating and they don't want somebody telling them when they can come and go. You know, when boys start hitting that friction point, you know what I mean, of boyhood
It
and
happens
manhood.
with girls
I know it
too.
happens for women too, but I think it shows up differently.
It shows
Nobody's
up because
questioning my femininity. Like, no,
it's more of a force when it shows up. The little voice went from sounding like a mouse, like mommy, 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 to yo, ma. I didn't appreciate that. And then I'm like, boy,
yeah.
you better tone it down. When they're not really trying to disrespect you, it's just that tone of
Oh,
voice change,
I
the
remember one of my
body
brothers
language
calling me
change.
at college, being like, "Yo, you need to talk to mommy. She bugging." And I was like, what is going on?" I'm like, "I'm getting a phone call in my dorm room. Like, what is happening over here?" And I talked to you, and you like, "He was yelling at me," and I'm like, "That is his voice now, crazy." Like, he was
Listen,
not
I
yelling
went
at
from
you.
being,
His voice is
wait,
deep. Leave my
look,
brother
I went
alone.
from being the
Like,
second tallest person into the house to the shortest person completely.
you did,
Give me
yeah.
some
You are the
slack.
smallest person
Because
in the
y'all
family now.
Negroes was towering over me, and Tyree is like Tyrone's. And you know, Tyrone likes to get over me and talk junk. And I'm like, okay, you're about to lose certain parts of your body if you don't back up off of me like that. So Tyree does it, and it's funny to them, but like I tell them, you don't know my whole story. As a man, for you to run up on me like that, you can't do that to me. Because
Yeah.
my head is ticking and I'm trying to say, okay, no, they're not going to do that to me. They're not going to, and something be like, remember that time. And then I'm just like, okay, boom, back up. You know, gut punch, sorry, not sorry, because you were in my safe space. Be arm distance. Don't play with mine. Don't play with mine. Because like y'all, we were kids and we are 60s kids. We have stories that we will never talk to anyone about unless you were there and had gone through it. We have reactions for reasons. You
Oh
understand
no,
what I'm saying?
we know y'all are
I mean, serious reactions, some things that we still have not never spoken to people about. I know I have, and I know the stuff I came up in, and I can tell you, for me to not been raised in the projects, I hung the hell out in the project. And for some reason, I felt safe, even though I saw the craziness that went on in there. You know, people, and there was a lot of people that really didn't live there
but was
that
always around.
came there and made it their playground. But because everybody, I ain't no snitch, they were allowing them to run amok,
Mm-mm.
you know, instead of checking them and putting them out on their behind. I just
And so
seen people fly off the roof.
yeah, I've heard those stories.
Intentionally and unintentionally. And see people come downstairs and crack up, open a 40, smoke a cigarette like they ain't did nothing with the body sitting there at the corner. Watching the police get it like, ooh, what happened?
Do not incriminate yourself because you know you good for that. Your camera just went off.
You could sit and be like that. Ooh, you know?
Mhm.
And you raise kids around people like that. You ain't got no choice because it's the world.
Right. But,
Mm-mm.
moving on.
What's next,
Um,
baby?
amidst your busy life, how do you make time for your hobbies and interests? And what advice do you have for other moms about pursuing passions outside of motherhood?
I'm late to the game in doing that because, I was a teen mom. Well, I graduated. I got out of high school at 17 and so forth, but I still got pregnant at 17. I had you at 18. So with that, I was told you ain't got time for a hobby. I was told no, you can't go roller skate to the roller ring anymore. What you out there
Then
jumping
no.
rope for? You understand what I'm saying? All the
Yeah.
stuff that I did before that women are still doing to this day, I was told no, greatly frowned upon. And people I knew in my circle, they kind of stepped away. It was like like I was the play because I had you. And I was like, y'all ain't gonna make me hate my baby. Go ahead. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. I'm gonna make plans. I said the one thing I'm not gonna do to her, if she wants the sun, moon, and stars, we gonna talk about it and we'll go there together. You know,
Mhm.
if it's possible. So my hobbies, like, and I love to
I feel
sew.
like you've
If
done
you
OES, like that has been huge, even when we was
I did
teens,
that
and
because
you were
my
super,
whole
super
life was
involved in that.
kids. Yeah, my whole life was children. I was the built-in babysitter. I was the family babysitter. I had my children, children's children, people children. So getting into OES was more of a Nana thing. I
Mhm.
remember playing in Nana's hats, the fezzes, taking her, which now is a sash, but I called it the big ribbon, and I would wrap it around me and put the gloves on. It came to my shoulder and her pearls, and she would say, "That's a nice way to wear that," but to tell you, and I'm like, "But it drags the floor." So then she would talk. And
Mhm.
I said, "Well, I want this," and she said, "When you get older, we'll talk about it." So we didn't really talk about it. I called her up and I said, "Hey, I'm B Eastern Star." She said, "The only thing I can tell you now, Nana had 10 kids and she was Eastern Star." She said, "You got to keep that family first. It'll always be there. Have fun with it, but it'll always be there." And she was right. She was right. I had fun with it. And then, I had my times where, anyway, but oh, yes, also for me, the Black family was there. That's all you saw. Because you
Mhm.
don't see it when you walk out your door, excuse me, anymore. Like a um lineage, like
You
I'm
mean like a
in
nuclear
this.
family, like that
Yeah,
there
like
were a
you
lot of
got
nuclear families
grandmothers,
in OE.
grandfathers, you got sons, mothers and fathers, sons, daughters, nieces, nephews that are Eastern Stars and Masons because they want to be. And they are all thriving together in different areas and they come together at the table. You don't see that. We are the last family organization that you're going to find completely because it's bloodline.
Mhm.
That's how I started through the bloodline. So that I love. I love that dynamic. And you go back and you're supposed to be in the community, help people and one another. So that I love. So when I got in and I really sat with the right people and they were schooling me, they were like, no, this is what we do. This is what you don't do. And you don't do like this. So that, the etiquette that Nana taught us, taught your grandmother, and she taught it to
Mhm.
us. It just heightened it. It's like I'm a Black woman, and it's when I walk, I glide.
Yeah.
when I smile, the room light up. That's because that's what I'm supposed to do. And God is the one that's ahead of it all, and He's running this entire show. So you have nothing to worry about. So, you know,
Okay. So then, all right. So it sounds like then you don't really have a ton of advice for moms
well,
keeping
I'm
passions
doing like
outside of
the
motherhood.
thing
Because I
is,
feel like I, I watch
passions. I'll
you.
say this. I'll say this to the mothers. Don't stop doing you. If you love it, you do it. One thing I would say, once you start getting those negative nannies in your ear, you need to distance yourself because they will weigh in you and you will find yourself gradually not doing one thing you love. You love it and it's not pulling time from your children and it's not making you sick like people just burn themselves out on both ends.
Right.
Do it. If you like roller skating, roller skate. No, don't roller skate pregnant. Wait till after you have the baby. Roller skate. Teach your children how to roller skate. Teach them how to swim, mountain climb, all of that. I don't know about the pole stuff, but other things. But it's good. Teach them. Do it with them. Show them because they're gonna need that. Because again, your child is only a child up until 21.
I was gonna say
They're
that
gonna
because
be adults for the rest of their lives. So they need to know they have this because it's going to be their outlet.
well, not even that. I think because I'm your only kid that didn't have a kid as soon as they became grown, right? Like,
Hmm.
so my relationship with you and Tyrone is a little different in that I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't go from being a kid to being a parent, right? Right
Well, I
away.
knew you
Right.
were
I mean, yes.
because I didn't
But
raise you to
because of
do
that,
that.
I was a little more aware of what it looked like once y'all had grown children. And I've watched you trying to find yourself outside of being in our business 24/7. Once everybody was
It's
out of your house. Because it was one thing when, when we were grown and all of us had that like 1 or 2 years of still living at home.
hmm
Shout out to y'all for not like being like, y'all grown now, y'all got to get out of my house because that was not the case. Um,
no.
but once we all moved out kind of naturally, like organically was like, all right, I kind of want my own space and whatever. Then I watched you like struggle to find yourself for a little bit. Like
Yeah,
you were like,
for
what
it
am I
was
supposed to
it
be
was
doing?
rough
And I was like, I don't know,
because
girl, but my boo
yeah,
ain't
because
moving.
a lot of I I'm calling them associates now. They be offended. Oh well, a lot of associates that were around, they went their way, and what they were into wasn't me. And the ones who my girls, they start passing away.
Hmm.
So I'm like, well, shoot. And someone is my passion, but hey, there's other things I would really like to do, and travel is one of them. So that's gonna be, travel. But I love kids. So with the grands, I want to take them and see their face when they see another
Yeah.
part of the world. When we go places that people told us, oh, because you black, you ain't supposed to go, or um, who you think you are. Hmm.
I think that's
So
foolish. I mean, I feel like there's only certain places that if you want to go for yourself, great. But there are places that I'm not breaking my back to go to, like Italy
yeah,
and stuff. You're not. I think you vote with your money. I'm not spending my money somewhere for you to turn you know what I mean, for it to not be a good experience. I don't think
right.
that. I
I
don't think
do
it's
want to
that
go to
deep.
Greece. I do want to go to
Mhm.
annuals. I think that's how you say annuals. I want to go there.
I think Croatia is
And
beautiful. And
yeah, I'm
like
going to go because
I would say go to Croatia before Italy because you can have
I'll
the
go to
same
Croatia.
food, if not better, island hop, and not deal with the like, like the blatant racism. Like I
Listen,
know that racism is everywhere, but in Italy, they really got some fucking nerve. Italy is a third world country in a Gucci belt. Like
listen,
they throw
and
bananas at
and
they black players, the African players that make their soccer team fucking relevant. Like I just for me, it's like if I'm not getting paid to go, like when I still worked in fashion and was getting sent all over the place, I'm not I'm not pouring my money in that economy.
I
No.
was crazy about Italy only because of the architectural. Because I
Right,
like
right. Because yeah,
architecture.
and we are big on like
So
antiquity and like history.
yeah, so I wanted to see, but from when y'all were born to now, we've been in so many wars, fights, bombings. Them structures ain't looking the way they used to.
Mm,
And they didn't gum and duct tape and fix them. I'm not interested in spending $5,000 for something. No, I'll go somewhere else.
yeah.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Okay. So, what is your go-to self-care routine to unwind after a long day? And how do you prioritize self-care alongside your responsibilities now that you're a quasi empty nester, right? Because I know what you call it, my nephews to the stars, Kai and Zai are in La Casa. But how
Oh,
what is your self-care routine giving these
girl,
days?
you know my self-care routine. You know I'm up with the birds sometimes, but even when I'm not, you know I don't play with my skin. Your grandmother didn't play with our
Mm-mm.
skin at all, at all. And I used to be so mad at her because I couldn't wear makeup and all that stuff. But I'm glad she did what she did. She could have said what she said a little different, but to say that our skin, our skin color, they they're gonna keep trying to put it in the can, you know? They're
Yeah.
gonna keep trying to have what we have. You got it naturally, you wear it, don't destroy it, you know? So my routine, and you know what I'm going to say, I have spent money on skincare. Um,
Yeah, I don't go cheap
and you know,
skincare.
my favorite and has never let me down is my Mary Kay. You
Listen,
know that.
that's why I put this question in here because I wanted you to plug
You know
your
that.
stuff.
I have been using, and Cookie, happy Mother's Day. But if it was not for Cookie coming with that Mary Kay set to the house, talking about, I gotta do a shoot. Okay. And I'll never forget. I had never had pimples in my face like that. But I say that, what is it? Slick it stuff is the bane to black women's skin. Because, man, once they started making that slick it stuff and all of that,
What do you
for
mean, like edge
me,
control?
they call it edge control now, but back
Oh,
then
but
it
you
was
mean
like
like
slick
the jams and
to
stuff like
jam
that
it and
to
slick it. Man, when I used to
once that
do
runs
those
into your
ponytails
face.
and you party and you sweat and that stuff come down in your skin, I had so many pimples, I looked like a science project. And I sat there and that man stuck that needle in my face, each pimple.
Yeah, I had to have that done
I
too.
sat there, I said, I'll never use that stuff again. And you know, I really don't use it. But Cookie comes 2 days later after we just spent about $500 on all of this stuff for my face. And she was like,
Mhm.
I just need you to try this clay mask. And I'm like, Cookie, I just spent all this money. And you see, I'm looking because now my phone wants to die.
Oh, we can wrap it up
No,
quickly.
I'm gonna plug it. I'm gonna get the plug and plug it up right quick. I might just cut my ring light off. So give me 1 second.
Okay.
1 second. Sorry
I'm gonna
for the break.
pause it. I'm gonna pause the recording
Pause
so
it.
that way I
Pause
know
it.
to
Yeah.
edit
Pause it.
this.
Pause it.
Okay, so we're back.
We
All
were
right.
talking about the skincare. So you know,
Yes.
Cookie with the Mary Kay, she introduced me to that clay mask, and we put it on my face. You remember, you were little. She put it on my face, and she got to show me all the Mary Kay products. And at that time, Mary Kay, you remember that big old nail kit I used to use?
Mm-hmm.
The kit, and then they had this product called Exquisite because you loved it. You used to pour that thing in that bathtub, and I'm like, oh God. But we sat there and that clay mask, we must have had that clay mask on for almost an hour and a half. We forgot it was on my face. It had turned colors, it started flaking off. And then Cookie looks at me and she's like, and I'm like, what's the matter? She said, no, we left it on too long. So we washed it off. My skin was so bright, and the little small pimples were gone. And the redness from the other pimples, my face didn't hurt. It had a brightness, it had a cleanness. I was hooked. I've hooked. I was hooked. So, you know, I've always sold it or
Mm-hmm.
didn't sell it, just bought it because I needed it. So my skincare regimen right now, because we're in the season going into the summer, is the Time Wise. I use the Time Wise. I have oily combinations in, and then I use Time Wise Volume Firm Repair Eye Cream because, due to medical conditions, my eyes can get pretty dark sometimes. So that keeps the darkness, and that it keeps away that darkness, and it keeps away that like flakiness. You see me get under my
Yeah,
eyes
yeah.
some more. So that stays control. And that cream I really put on the top and the bottom. Then of course, I love the chocolate mask. We have a fabulous oil makeup remover that cleans your face and you wipe it off with the
Well,
micellar
you've been
water.
getting more into makeup, like I feel like in the recent
Right.
years.
So
You were not a big makeup girl, but
no,
recently, I
I
feel like
didn't
the
know
past
what
handful of
was
years, you've been more like, how do I contour? What do I do this?
oh,
You were having
that's the
all the
funny
questions.
thing. That's the funniest thing. And then the mask. We have Time Wise Repair Biocellulose mask. That was that mask that I put on in your house, and you were screaming like, "Oh my gosh, my face! It looks so dewy." That's what I do. I moisturize. I make sure I stay hydrated.
Hello, it's an inside job. Your
You
skin
know
is an
me.
inside job. I tell people this all the time.
Listen, it is an inside job. You can spend all the money you want, but if you're not drinking water and getting the proper sleep, those are my two things. I'll go to sleep on you in a minute. I'll
Yep,
be like, okay, y'all, I'm out.
right. It's been real,
You
but
got to get your sleep and you got to drink your water. Plus, you need some exercise. So that's it.
uh,
But my top head to toe is Mary Kay. Mary
okay.
Kay itself.
All right. So we're going into the last question. In what ways has being a mother impacted your identity throughout the years? And how have you balanced your personal growth with your role as a mom?
You know what? Motherhood has been a choice because I never took motherhood lightly. Didn't understand it because, of course, having children, you don't get a book of instructions. And your book of instructions is your elders. I don't care if the person was on drugs. They got something valuable to tell you not to do and to do. So with that, I'm glad I listened. I may not have did everything I was told right then and there, but eventually I did do it. So for me, I feel I was meant to be a mom. I if I wasn't so we have a tendency as moms to push our fears into our children,
Mm-hmm.
the things we're scared of. So my mom did that to us. So whatever her experiences was, she raised us out of the fear of it happened to us. And it happened any old
It
way.
always.
It always do. I looked at it from a different angle. I made sure you were educated because I know BS comes down the line of life for all ages. I know you used to be so upset with me because I used to say, don't cry. Something happens, don't you start crying right away.
Mm,
Because when you cry for a woman, her whole body is out of sync. Her mental, you can't focus. But you can't see with a bunch of water in your eye.
right,
So
right.
if you need to fight or flight and you crying and you screaming, you're not going to do it for yourself. That 1 second is life or death. So, and I taught you that early because your grandmother taught me that early. We used to walk miles, and she made me remember every odd color door. Because if I pass out in the street or somebody do something to me, I need you to get back home and you knock on so and so's door, or you get to the nearest telephone and you dial zero and for the uncles, whoever. She taught me like that. So I taught you that. I didn't remove that. I taught you that. I taught your brothers that. So in doing that and watching you learn and telling me, y'all told me the horror stories later. that you live, that you're standing here alive today because of the right choices I made. So I'm good.
Well, it's funny you
I'm
say that
good.
because I always, the millennial, my generation, right?
Mhm.
Because we have social media and things like that. I think
Go for it.
we give ourselves a lot of credit for things that your generation actually did. And maybe it's more personal. I don't want to make a blanket statement, but like you hear people say, "Oh, I'm breaking generational curses" and blah blah blah. I'm not really somebody that uses the word curse as loosely as some of my peers,
Mhm.
but I do think you are the trendsetter of like raising a carefree Black girl. Like, what my friends are always like, you just like, you've done everything. I've had like 5 lives and I'm not even 40 yet, right? But I was like, because my mom didn't like your approach to motherhood wasn't like obedience. And I think that you know what I mean? Like, how, like you said, like you were raised with Nanny Pearl's fears of like going certain places and doing certain things. And so, she was very much like stay close
Mhm.
to the house. And you didn't stop me in those ways, but your fears showed up in other ways, right? Because I could tell even
Mhm.
without you saying the quiet part out loud that you were very concerned, especially once I started to like become a woman, what my interaction with men was going to look like. Or
Yeah,
when I started, when people wanted me to model and you were very like, oh shit. Like it's
because
history about to
I had
repeat
already
itself,
done it.
right? And so like
Listen,
I
I
could,
had already did it.
yes,
So
because I
yeah.
could, and so I could see, you know what I mean, where it's like where it didn't slow me down and something, and it didn't slow me down. And to your point, like those fears, that having that fear and trying to like keep you close because of what happened to you, it didn't stop it from happening because we can only control ourselves. These men are still being raised to be, or not raised to to be deviants or
But you know
whatever.
what? After a certain age, you can make any excuse you want about what your mama didn't tell you or
It's,
your
yes,
daddy didn't tell you. It wasn't around. When you hit a certain age, to hell with that. You are a grown individual. You have started to define yourself. Now,
mhm,
if you want to continue to be that fool, female and male, have at it. But don't expect me to co-sign
no,
because I ain't going to do it.
no,
And none of mine are going to do that. And that's just that.
on period,
You
no.
know, you keep messing with a fool for them to treat you like a fool and make you look like a fool. Fool, I ain't coming.
Yeah,
How about that? You know, we have it. Be true to you. God. And as a mom, the one thing I love about the word mom, I don't care what kind of mother you have, it's an everlasting type. It's everlasting. Even if you was a mom that ain't never showed up, you are referenced to as mom. No one can take that title, whether you earned it or not.
yeah. And I think too, like what you were saying about you think your purpose was to be a mom because you are like especially when we still lived in Jersey City, y'all are like neighborhood parents. Like you had not, you did not just mother the children in your house. And I think that's such uh, a testament to like how you were brought up and how you brought us up because we are very much community centered people. Like we take in
Let
every.
me tell you, let me tell you something. You know where I got that from? I got that from Aunt Mary. Aunt Mary's community mom.
Mhm.
Thank God for Aunt Mary. Because I tell you, she got everybody teachers. She died with all our teachers. But she told you the truth. And she always told you, don't, help a child, no matter how stupid they may act. Help a kid. I don't care how stupid they parent act. Help them. Help them because there's some turning point in your life. You're going to say, wow, Miss So-and-so, you know what? I'm going to get this together today because of Miss So-and-so. You know how many people saved my life as a young girl where so-called friends invited me to a party. It wasn't right or nobody was there. So now I snuck to go there. Now I got to get back home. And I had to walk the streets by myself because that was the intention, because people look at you and be like, oh, she thinks she killed. She think you this. She think you that. You know how many times, please, men try to cut my face, women try to cut my face. Like, doing something to my face was going to stop me from being who I was on the inside.
But that envy, that, some people are self-governed by their insecurity.
Yes,
And
they,
that,
they are.
like,
And
you
they hold
know,
that flag.
you
And
know,
as a mother, that's your biggest fear. That's your biggest fear is you running into, because people like that are in wolf packs. They're not
they don't,
solo.
yeah, oh,
They're wolf packs. They're in wolf packs. And it's usually the weakest link wolf you meet first till that big monster you meet. And that's when you end up with that fight for your life. Somebody rather see you dead because you look and carry yourself a different way. Man, please, thank God for being God and knowing Jesus, because I'd have said a whole lot of other words. But
yeah.
it's ridiculous. And that's mom's fear. I remember seeing that video about that young girl where they set her up and snatched her by her hair, broke her neck.
Mm-hmm.
That
Oh yeah, the
made
Shaquilla.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that thing, I cried so bad because I just, I almost had that happen to me. And I was scared that's going to happen to you because you had more people hating you just for not looking like them and acting like them, that they would have loved to see that be your plight.
Oh, absolutely. I think
And
for
I know
me,
for me, it was said all the time. I remember today, one of our neighbors told me, I was going to be somebody who on the street with so many kids that I was going to know what to do.
well, people, I mean, listen, you can't take everything
Because
that come out
I
of people's mouth
was
personally
cute,
because,
outgoing, and a tomboy. I hung out with the boys because the girls was full of crap. It was always something. Did everybody be pretty and be happy with it?
no, because
Yeah, that's true. That's
no,
true.
because this
And
is the thing too, because
you still got that as old. You
well,
know
not
that.
even
You
that though,
still
because
have
a lot of the problems with kids that act like that is the adults in their house. And
that. Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? It's like you can't expect kids to not hate themselves and then hate you when they are being talked to crazy and they're so young, and this is how their minds are developing about who they are, and they in their house are being called ugly and bald-headed and dark skinned and like in a negative way, right? Because there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with any of that, right? But like I
But it's still negative, even if you joking. It's negative. It's negative. Ugly is ugly. You know, if I'm bald headed, whoopity doo. Give me something to shine my bald head. Make me look cute with
yeah,
my little bald head.
no,
Remind me I'm
people.
pretty. I remember we took Nunu. We went to see Black Panther, and Nunu said, "If I go to Wakanda, do I gotta be bald headed?" I said, "Nunu, what's wrong with being bald headed?" She said, "Oh, Grandma, I think I'm ugly. You already called me. I said, ain't nothing ugly about you.
At
They
all.
ugly. They
At
are
all.
ugly. When they look in the mirror, they see ugly because they act
I
ugly.
mean, kids can be cruel, and I think it's
And kids
reinforced by
are
the adults
cruel.
around them. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you expect kids to tease and whatever, but it's
Yeah.
reinforced by the adults around them. And so if you're growing up a place with around folks that are colorist and hair and texturist and fat phobic and well, you're not gonna find that
Mhm.
you're not gonna find that tribe outside of that. And I remember for me, I was lucky because in middle school, I didn't really deal with that. We didn't really deal with
No.
that because you know what I mean? When our schools transition and they combine then we had a little bit, but we was almost up out of there. And
Mhm.
I had my group of friends and they already knew what type of time I was on. I think me going to a white high school saved me from a lot of that. Cause all I did was focus on my schoolwork and dance. And you know what I mean? Like I didn't deal with any of that
And
nonsense. Not even
and you got
a little
to.
bit. Like
Mhm.
I didn't. And then when I got to college, it was like the high school experience I didn't have. Cause
Mm.
I'm walking around here with waist length hair and a big butt, and you know what I mean. Then it was like, oh, she thinks she cute, and now I got to put hands and feet on people because I'm up here trying to get my education, and y'all talking about my hair texture, like,
And a paid
like
education, look, and a
I'm
paid
up here
education at
sleeping on
that was
floors,
that we
traveling three
all
and 4 hours so
wait,
that
you
I could
know.
graduate, and you are talking about my hair. Be fucking
But that's
for
funny because I remember us. You had started Bragg, and we were riding the bus together at 87, and you sat in front of me. I sat behind you, and a young girl sat next to me, and her friend sat across. And you had your ponytail, and it was hanging on the side. So, and I'm listening to these girls talk about you, and I said, I ain't gonna say nothing. So the girl was like, "Oh, I want her type of hair." So I'm like, "Okay, I know where this is going." So the girl was like, "I'm gonna tap her on the shoulder." She said, "Cause I need her hair." And I looked. I said, "You didn't look. That's actually her hair." I didn't even say that's my daughter. I didn't say nothing. Remember? I said,
Mhm.
"That's her hair." And the girl is like, "Yeah, cause she bought it." And I'm like, tap on her shoulder. I got to hear this. And when she tapped, you was like, "What? Huh?" And you was like, she's like, "Where you get your hair from?" She's like, you were like, "Huh? What?" And the girl was like, "What?" And both of y'all like, "What?" You was like, "This is my hair." And the girl looked at me. I looked at her. I told you that was her hair. She's like, that. She's like, "That can't be her hair." I said, "That's my daughter. That's a goddamn hair. That's her hair. That's a goddamn hair. That's her hair." She's like,
Wow.
"Well, how?" I said, as your grandmother would say, she don't put that wiggy crap in her hair all the time. You
You,
gotta let it.
you know
You got
what's funny too?
your
Because
grandma has some names that they.
I don't even have like super loose curls. Like I don't even have super loose hair. Like I don't.
No,
But
you got tight curls.
because I've always been natural and like, I was the press and curl queen back in those days. And even now I don't do
But
too much with it.
Shirley was
But
no
the
joke.
amount of people that thought I had a white father or what
Oh
have you,
God.
it will never cease to amaze me. Like I'll never forget when Facebook first started and we start putting pictures and somebody who I will see if I can find it. There's a quote, they're like, "Oh my God, you do have two black parents." And I'm like,
I saw that and I was like,
what? What?
like
What about me gives biracial? Nothing.
that. You know what? That reminds me when you saved Tyree life when he learned about skin color and he came home talk about you black, you black, you black, you black, but mommy white. And I'm like, Negro, I'm about to lose a child today.
What's funny though is didn't you do that little fake DNA thing and it said you was a white woman? It did say you was a
Listen,
white woman. It did say,
that's why I was fake. That's why it was fake.
it did say your European
It is
descendants was a
some
little half.
great.
It
Wait, the
was a
lies
little
you tell.
half. It wasn't. You're not like us. You're not like.
Kill your mama. That's that. Listen, I know I got a mixture in me that was wanted and unwanted, and I'm cool with that. You know. So, and that's that. Mixed vegetables is what it is.
Is what it
Just,
is.
just make sure it tastes good and it's healthy for you.